Good day, everybody. My name is Shalini. I'm VP of Customer Success here at Ciirus. We are going to focus on the day-to-day operations, how to utilize the housekeeping, maintenance, inspections, and day-to-day reporting aspects or components of the Ciirus system today. It is now 1:02 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll officially get started at 1:05. So I will let you guys settle in, grab a glass of water, get everything prepared, and we will officially start at 1:05. Speak soon. Good day, everybody. Again, my name is Shalini Brijmohan, VP of Customer Success here at Ciirus. It is now 1:05 and we are ready to get started. So welcome to the Ciirus Learning Groups webinars, where we provide system training and education on how to utilize Ciirus to its fullest potential, resulting in more efficient and automated operations. Again, I'm Shalini Brijmohan. I'll briefly explain my role at the company or at Ciirus. I oversee data migration, onboarding, training, and implementation. So I'd like to go ahead and set the table on what module we are specifically focusing on today or in today's Learning Groups webinar, which is essentially your day-to-day operations using Task Manager to cover housekeeping, maintenance, and inspections, and the benefits of Task Manager, again, making your day-to-day operations more efficient. And then we'll cover very simple day-to-day reports that we recommend you pull on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis. You set the cadence once we go over the steps to achieve. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll be using a fictitious Ciirus system, as we usually do in our learning groups, Beach Escape Rentals. I want to state for the newcomers or anyone who's new to the Ciirus learning groups, it is a different system. However, the steps, processes, and configuration are exactly the same. So as we go through today's webinar, envision what you would like to accomplish, focus on the steps to achieve, and once you understand how to utilize that feature or module, we are positive we can cater it to your exact needs and scenarios. If there is a scenario that apply or pertain to your day-to-day operations that we have not necessarily covered or addressed, please do not hesitate to submit that as a question Speaking of questions, in your GoToWebinar panel or dashboard, you should see a panel labeled questions. I will be receiving your questions as the host. I'll read the questions out loud so all of the attendees, everybody joining today's webinar, can hopefully gain some insight, or that can somewhat be beneficial or knowledgeable to their internal operations. So any questions, it doesn't applying to the day-to-day operations, or if it's something that I'm not covering applying to day-to-day operations, please make sure you submit it in the questions panel. We really love questions and feedback from our valued customers or users, as we take that as data or information, and we can take that information, deliver it over to our development team, and perhaps your question or suggestion has sparked an idea within our company to develop a new feature to make your experience better with the system. So again, please submit all of your questions. It helps all of us attending. All right, so before we get started, using the questions panel, can you all let me know if you can see my screen? Great. Okay, so you can see my screen and you can hear me, of course. So awesome. We can go ahead and get started. I do want to say one more thing. All of the learning groups or the webinars are recorded for future reference. So as you're growing your team and you are going through their training or induction or onboarding program with your team, you can reference or have them watch the recording of the webinars that we conduct. It is every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and we go through various amount of modules within the system. So let me quickly show you how to gain access to the recordings. You're going to go to www.ciirus.com/learning-groups. Okay, and then we're going to scroll down to the middle of the page. In orange, you'll see click here for the recordings. And the recordings are being conducted by myself and our Ciirus training specialist, very well versed in the product, of course, and in your system. And you can filter by the host. If you like that person in particular, you like their delivery of training, you can sort by or filter by the host, or you can see all of the recordings here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the day-to-day operations within your Ciirus system. So when you log into the Ciirus system, majority of your day-to-day operations will be in the menu of management company. So here I've logged into the fictitious system, Beach Escape Rentals. Majority of your day-to-day operations will be here in management company. In management company, this is where you'll see a dedicated menu for task manager and your day-to-day reports. So before we get to the task manager, I want to show you the basic version of the housekeeping schedule, as well as a basic version of how to create a work order, and then using task manager, tracking the progress of all cleans and work orders or maintenance items, as well as inspections. But let's first start with the basics of housekeeping and work orders, as that is essential in order to service your guests and your owners. So again, the goal with Ciirus is to centralize all of your operations within the system, starting from owners, listings, distribution. Now they're live, they're transactional, you're getting bookings. We also want to centralize the operations such as cleans, work orders, and eliminate data entry, eliminate third-party systems, eliminate spreadsheets. All of that information is automated and can be found within your Ciirus management company. So starting with the basic housekeeping module, where I'll show you the path, management company, and then housekeeping. Okay, so then it will default to today's date. However, of course, like any date picker in the Ciirus system, you can customize it. So what I find that most companies do is that they run the cleaning schedule on a Monday to a Monday. Of course, depending on the traffic and the turnover of your inventory, it's best to view this on a daily basis, or you can have your team view it via Task Manager, which we're going to focus on later on our session. So specify any date. I'll go ahead and do a Y, because again, this is a fictitious system. I'll do the whole month of November, and then go ahead and click refresh. Okay, so what you're going to see is a unit that needs to be cleaned, the community, if applicable, the number of guests within that booking or departure clean, the name of the guest, the departure date, which is the same as the cleaning date, the source of the reservation, and then the assigned cleaner for that departure. It should load the default cleaner. For example, in this system, it's Sunshine Cleaning, and that should be the default cleaner applied against your properties. If you're not sure on how to apply a default cleaner, I would like you to reference the system configuration of the webinar, which is training session number 1, system configuration, applying the default settings, including the cleaning in your system. I'm so sorry for the background noise. Didn't know that the lawn company was going to come and, or the blower of leaves was going to come in. So apologies for the background noise. Just give me 1 second, let him pass by. Almost done blowing the leaves over here. Okay, I think the maintenance company, speaking of maintenance, he's done using the leaf blower. Okay, so back to it. I do apologize about that. This going back to configuring the default cleaner, that's done in the first training session, but to quickly refresh you on that, if you do not know and you're brand new to the system, that will be configured in owners and listings, and then the advanced unit setup where you can apply a default cleaner, so you don't have to do it manually on a weekly, monthly, or whatever your cadence is basis. So you can also play Tetris here and reassign some cleans to other cleaners based off of their availability, based off of if it's a back-to-back reservation. Maybe you find that the cleaner cannot do everything on that day, and you can reallocate as necessary. So distribute the cleans evenly amongst your team. And then you can also, by default, the system will schedule an end of stay departure cleaning for every booking. And you're able to override that and change the type of clean if you see fit. And here are all of the default cleans in the system. As you see, we have standard, mid-stay clean. Now, due to the pandemic, we have a disinfection clean. So various amounts of cleaning options available. Any comments you would like to reflect on the housekeeping report or task manager, which is what we're going to get into very soon, will reflect to that cleaner, again, via task manager or the report. If they are using task manager to mark the status of the clean, you can see that clean status here of whether it be pending, in progress, or complete, and then when the clean was scheduled. All right, then you can see next booking information. This is important to note because that way you can see how long between bookings you have to clean that property. in terms of scheduling. So for the housekeeping module, this I would say is a simplified version of viewing cleans, and then a more automated or efficient, some may say a bit too advanced, would be task manager. But I wanted to show you the basic, and then I want to show you task manager, and then you can decide what's best for your company. So once you have loaded the cleans, you're able to view the booking. If you need to reference any of the booking information, you can do that as well. But now, how do you view the basic housekeeping report? Go ahead and click on Open Report, and that should open in a new tab for you. And you're able, any report that is generated by the system, you're able to email it to your team members, save it to your desktop, print it out for further manipulation or distribution amongst your team. So you can see we've assigned one cleaner for this date range, and this is what the cleaning schedule looks like. And here are the available options in the report menu: print or save as PDF to then email. All right, doesn't seem like we have any questions so far. Again, don't hesitate to submit your questions. This is the basic housekeeping module. So now I'm going to show you the basic work order module on how to create a work order to then, if applicable, apply to the owner's account or charge the owner of the property, including a margin, again, if applicable. Or let's say you want to keep track of all of the complementary work that you're doing on behalf of the owners. You can add that in as a work order, send it to their statement, or what we call the owner account, at a zero amount. And that way there's a record, again, of all the complementary free gestures that you've done on their behalf, just as, again, a goodwill gesture or a good service as a property manager to the owner so that you can retain their home. And if anything were to occur, you can pull a report on all of the complementary work that you've done. So this is good to track not only chargeable maintenance items, but also the complementary ones as well. So we're going to go to management company again, and then right below work orders, right below housekeeping. All right, same thing. You have the date picker like you do anywhere else in the system. You'll notice that it's grouping it by the unit name. And what that means is all work orders for the property Barefoot Bungalow is grouped into one panel, so on and so forth for Coral Cottage, and etc. So if you don't like the grouping and you want a solid itemized list and to remove the grouping rows, what you can do is take the unit name, drag it so that it's overlapping the existing unit name column, drag and drop, and now you have a solid list, and it's easier to view, in my opinion. Or if you prefer to group it by the date, unit, etc., that is helpful if you have a lot of work orders to look at. Okay, so you make sure you have the right date range, and then in your filters, you can show to view completed, or if you don't want to see completed work orders, just uncheck that to see what is pending in progress. All right, so how do we add a work order? We're going to click on the plus sign right above the grid, always the row, and it appears in the grid as a new work order, or it appears in your table as a new work order. Okay, and there we go. Okay, I see what's going on. It's duplicating it. It's okay. I can just remove the duplicate. There we go. Yeah. All right, so just have applied the right unit name, and then we're going to specify the property the work order applies to. You want to make sure you're selecting the right property, of course. Obviously, you don't want to send your team to the wrong property and waste time and gas and resources. So make sure you've assigned the right property. Then you want to assign the applicable team member or vendor or third-party service. So for example, I'm going to assign it to, let's see who we have in here, Sunshine Cleaning, for example, or Bob Jones, the local handyman. And then the subject about the work order. So it's a brief description about the work order, and then we can put in the full details if necessary. So for example, let's say the guest called to report that the light bulb in the master bedroom needs a new bulb. Okay, so input the description, you can copy it and paste, the subject line, and then you can copy it and paste it into the description if necessary. The progress, right now it is pending. Using Task Manager, you can specify the template, but we'll get into that momentarily. If you are charging the owner for replacing the light bulb or whatever the work may be, you're going to specify the statement it applies to. So for example, let's say that this is being done today, November 15th, therefore it would apply to the owner's November statement. Okay, if you want the owner to see or have access to the work order via the owner portal, enable this setting. By default, it is disabled because maybe you don't want the owners to see all the work being conducted in their home, or it's on a case-by-case basis and you need the owners to review it and approve it prior to conducting the actual work or rendering the service. So you have the ability to show it in the owner portal or not. And then you want to, for accounting, you can input the amount you are charging the owner. If the cost price, so the vendor of this property, the vendor of who is rendering the service is Bob Jones. And you're going to input the amount due to Bob Jones to process his payout or invoice. And then the system will calculate a margin. So let's say Bob Jones will invoice $5 for this job, but due to coordinating, scheduling, servicing, time, resources with your team, you're going to mark that up by $5, or it's based off fixed amounts, not percentages at this time. So you're going to input the amount to charge the owner, save, and then the system will auto calculate and then populate your margin to reflect on your end of month payout reports. Okay, so here it is, $10 to the owner, $5 to Bob Jones, the vendor, therefore $5 margin. Now, if you would like to charge the work order to the owner statement, once the work is completed, you'll go ahead and click on the menu icon, or known as the 3 dots or ellipses icon, and then you're ready to send it off and apply it to the owner's November statement, because again, it is based off of the owner statement date here. Okay, so I got a question. Just give me 1 second while I review that question. Okay, so we got a couple of questions. So the first question, how to add an owner account transaction type for work orders. So you can create, the system provides default owner transaction types in your software assistant, and you can also create your own. So to answer the question, I'm going to pause on this screen and I'm going to go to Global Settings, and I'm going to open the Software Assistant in a new tab. So that way we don't lose focus on the basic work order module. And then I can go back to the other question we received. Okay, and then in the Software Assistant drop-down navigation menu, you're going to go to Owner Transaction Types. Okay, here are the ones that are default based off of the short-term vacation rental industry, frequently used, transaction types. So we already have maintenance, we already have services, you know, tons already available for you. I would not, please do not create, please verify that the transaction type doesn't already exist before adding it into the system, because it cannot be removed. And then you have a duplicate transaction type, therefore duplicate reports, duplicate data, which, you know, defeats the purpose of automating and making your operations more efficient. So if the transaction type does not exist, go ahead and click on the plus sign to create it. Okay. So I hope that answered your question. Please let me know if not. Okay, and then once you added that transaction type, refresh your Ciirus One system, it should reflect in the work order owner transaction type drop-down menu. Awesome, I'm glad it answered your question. You're very welcome. Okay, and then the next question, very good question. So does the work order module have similar fields as the basic housekeeping module? In order to schedule work orders, I would like to see the next guest arrival date in order to schedule the maintenance. Also, does it indicate when, if it is a back-to-back booking currently in the home when scheduling maintenance? Not in the basic work order module. However, Task Manager will fulfill that request. So that is a good segue for us to focus on Task Manager now that we understand the essentials or the foundation of the basic maintenance and housekeeping modules. So now we can transition over to what is the Task Manager, how to utilize the Task Manager, and to schedule, report an issue, look at the property calendar, see if there are back-to-back bookings, to see if there's an upcoming arrival in order to schedule maintenance. And that all can be done via Task Manager. So what is Task Manager? Firstly, let's go there. We're going to go to Management Company to locate the main menu of Task Manager. Again, Management Company, and it has its own dedicated menu, Task Manager. And then we're going to start with task templates. Okay, so what is Task Manager? It is a centralized module for, again, all of your day-to-day operations, which you see here, housekeeping, inspections, and work orders. And with Task Manager, I'm sure when you are hiring, coordinating, spending time, all of your time and efforts, qualifying your team to go out and conduct a clean, to go out and conduct an inspection, to go out and fulfill a service for work orders. That takes a lot of time, and you want to make sure that you are doing good work by the owner as per your agreements, and that whoever you've hired is doing the task at hand. To ensure that they're doing the task at hand, you can build your own customized templates for each and every operational scenario. So what I mean by that, let's focus on housekeeping. Let's say standard protocol or standard operating procedure for conducting or doing a end of stay departure clean is to complete XYZ criteria. So you can create templates to say, hey, did you do this? Yes or no? If you did do it, what's the status of that item? can you upload a photo so we can verify that you did it to its fullest entirety? Let me give you an example. So we provide example templates. And let me go ahead and do the general clean. Actually, so if you want to import a default template or examples that we've already preloaded in the system for you to give you some ideas or to serve as inspiration, go ahead and click on import default templates and then go ahead and select, for example, general clean template. Click on that copy icon, input the name. You can say example, for example, so that you can differentiate yours versus what's provided in the system. And then click on the menu icon. And let me go ahead and show you the different criteria you can set against a task manager template. So in the living room, you can set parameters on what needs to be done in the living room. You can break it up by the room or by the property. It can be property specific, it can be community specific, it can be based off of cleans, off of inspections, or off of a work order. And again, it's your standard operating procedures for each and every one of these types of tasks. So within a task, here are the different criteria that they have to meet. So if we go here to view all of the requirement types, it can be a checklist that they have to literally check off that they've, for example, as you can see here, you've washed the windows, you've emptied and cleaned the waste baskets, you be sure to leave clean linens for the sofa bed. So it can be a checklist of items that the team member or whoever you've qualified to do that service has to check off in order to ensure that it's done and that service has been fulfilled in order to move on to billing or to check the guest in, so on and so forth for your operations. It can be a photo requirement where they have to physically take their camera out, take a photo, and let you know what it looks like in order to deem it as approved. It could be a count. For example, maybe they have to count all the linens, all the towels. It could be a text where you write a question and they have to respond via text. It can be a yes or no question. It can also be a rating or a condition. So we have so many different scenarios so that you can create a customized template, a checklist of items that they have to complete before completing a task, which can consist of a clean, a work order, or inspection. I hope that explains what Task Manager is. So essentially creating your own customized templates with your requirements that your team has to check off and complete in order to mark it as complete in the system. You see that in real time and then pass it over to accounting for billing. That's at a high level what it is. Any questions on what is Task Manager? This is a fairly new feature, so I want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of the importance and how it can be helpful. All right, so let me show you, now that we know what Task Manager is, let me show you how to create a template for each different type of task, and then how to assign that template as a default against a clean, against an inspection, against the work order, and then what it actually looks like from your team members or third-party cleaners, maintenance team members, when they log on, how do they actually see it from their perspective via the Task Manager portal, which is not an app that they need to download. It's very easy to access. How they can report issues via their portal, how they can mark the items as complete, or again, pending in progress or complete. And then I can show you the unit schedule, and then we'll dive into your day-to-day reports. So how to create the templates, very easy. You're gonna go ahead and click on the plus icon. And let's say we're gonna do a, I don't know, a COVID sanitary clean. or mid-stay clean or deep clean. I'm actually going to go with a deep. I think I'm more familiar with that. So I'll go ahead and add the deep clean into the template into the system, and we're going to assign the appropriate category. So is a template for housekeeping, inspections, or work orders? Right now, obviously the deep clean is specifically for cleaning or housekeeping. And then we're going to add that template. So now we're going to build the template with your set of criteria or requirements. So we're going to click on the menu icon and we're going to go to View Edit Template. Now I will say this is a set it and forget it. So it may take some time to really create and build customized templates, or not necessarily. You can use examples that we preload in the system for you, but it's worth it because again, you are ensuring the quality of the work and they're checking off all of your requirements to ensure that work is done or that task is completed. So the one and done type of setup, and then I'll show you how to apply it as the default templates, and then what appears on when they log into the portal, the Task Manager portal. So we'll go ahead and click Add Section. And this is the first section. We already preload a lot of the available types of rooms within a short-term vacation rental. So again, we're doing the deep clean, and we'll start with the exterior of, well, I don't know about that. Sorry, forgive me on cleaning and maintenance. Let's say we're going to do the kitchen. Click Save. So now we've created a specific criteria of items to check off on for the kitchen. And we'll go ahead and add the next section, which is the bedroom. Save, so on and so forth. Okay, now adding the criteria to each section of the deep clean or each component of the deep clean. So I'll go ahead and click on kitchen, and we will specify the first requirement type. So I want to do a checklist and then describe the task. So probably the first thing that you need to do in order to deep clean it is to remove all of the cutlery, all of the cups, all of the plates out of the kitchen cupboards. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do is remove the items out of the cupboard in order to deep clean. Okay, and then if you need for them, I don't think that's necessary, but if you require a photo verifying that they actually removed all of the dishes and cutlery items out of the kitchen cabinets, you can require a photo as well, and then save. And that is essentially how you build a template. First, you start with in hierarchy order, the type of template, break it down into a series of rooms or different components within that task. And then within each component or room, the questions or requirements that you have set against for that template. Any questions on this so far? Now, if you've duplicated a component or a room, click on the edit symbol, and this is where you can change the questions or criteria requirements or delete the duplicates. Okay, so now that we know how to build the templates for housekeeping, that same logic and concept applies to inspections and work orders. So I'll go ahead and move on to assigning the templates to each property or each clean or each work order. So going back to housekeeping, we're going to go to management. Going back to configuration, we're going to go to owners and listings, and now we call it the advanced unit setup, formerly known as quick property setup. With the amount of new features that we're adding into the system, it is no longer, I would say, necessarily quick, to be quite honest with you guys. So it is now called the advanced unit setup. Makes more sense. Yeah. So I'll let it load, and then I'll show you guys how to apply the default cleans, the default task manager housekeeping templates to each unit. So we're going to go to the filters, and I don't need to see the general settings. I want to focus on viewing the settings for task manager. That's my area of focus right now. And then apply. Okay, so now here for all properties at one shot, you can apply the default template. So let's say it's a general clean template for that property, so on and so forth for work orders, inspections. And that is what will load to whoever is assigned to the clean or to the work order. Now, you're able to override it. So this is, again, the default applied against the unit, and that will reflect in the team members or vendors task manager account via the portal. If you need to override it for whatever reason, what you can do is go back to the basic management company menu where we viewed the basic cleans, the basic work order schedule. I'll start with work orders. Okay, and then here, if we scroll over, this is where you can override and apply specific work order template for that specific type of task or work order item. Same concept and logic and steps apply to housekeeping. So if we go over to housekeeping, I'll load again. So if I scroll over, I can override the default template and apply it here. And then make sure you save all of your updates. So going back to when we first unfolded Task Manager, we started with what is Task Manager, the purpose, how to create a template, how to assign that template on a unit basis, how to override it on a clean or work order basis. Now, what does it actually look like from the cleaners or team members' perspective? So all they have to do, well, firstly, we need to issue their login credentials. Okay, so to see the login credentials for their Task Manager account, we're going to go to Global Settings, back to the Software Assistant, where we have all of the contacts and vendors. Another area, yeah, I apologize, it's actually in the Software Assistant. And then we're going to go into the navigation menu, and we're going to go to contacts and vendors. Okay, and then we're going to scroll over to the right, and you should see it again. Once you scroll over, take the bottom scroll bar all the way to the right. And here's where you're going to see the users or the cleaners, the team members, the third-party service, the task manager username, and their password. The username is auto-generated by the system. It is a numerical ID. The password is something that you can create or customize or standardize across all of your third-party vendors or team members. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in to the cleaner's account, which is Sunshine Cleaning. And here you can see that is her username, 50392, and the password. And I can just copy that. Okay, 50392. And you're gonna, what she will do to see all of her scheduled cleans, she can go to using any device, an iPad, an Apple, Android, to view her schedule. You don't have to email a schedule. You just make sure to train them to say, hey, check your task manager every day. Check your task manager daily, weekly, monthly to see your scheduled cleans and plan out your week accordingly. And I would, again, recommend or express the importance of checking that on a frequent basis. So where do they go? They go to task.ciirus.com. And Task Manager is completely mobile responsive. If you're looking on your phone, you can turn this into an app. So it's nothing that you need to download. You don't have to download an app. So if you go to, I'm an iPhone user, so I'm going to go to my default browser, which is Safari. And I'm going to go again to task.ciirus.com on my phone. And if you want to do this with me, then you should see on your phone, again, it's whether it's an Android or an Apple phone, you should see at the bottom, there's like a box with an arrow pointing up. And you can turn that into an app. So there should be an option to say add home screen. And there it's pinned on the cleaners or the team members, whoever it is, it's pinned onto their phone as an app. So again, if you go to task.ciirus.com, click on the arrow pointing up with the box, scroll down, it should say add to home screen, and you've turned the mobile responsive website into an app. So that's a little quick tip. Okay, so back to logging in, 50392. And then let me paste the password. Now, at this time, we offer 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So they can define the language at the time of login. And we use Google Translate for the different languages. Go ahead and log in. Okay, so for the scheduled cleans, it does for the date, defaults to all. However, you can change it by using today, this week, or all. You can also use the filter here where you can drag and specify the start date. Click on the start date to view the scheduled cleans and then hover over to the end date. Click on the end date and then close. Give me 1 second. Let's try this again. I only had 1 clean assigned. Remember, I only assigned Sunshine Cleaning to that 1 clean earlier on, but if more cleans were assigned to Sunshine Cleaning, it will reflect once you've applied the dates. Okay, so now what you'll see is all of her scheduled cleans. We have Barefoot Bungalow, the name of the unit, when the cleaning is scheduled or due, the type of task, and the current status. So we'll click on the clean to view further details. And here is where she'll actually start the task, and it will prompt her through your list of requirements to mark as complete or complete the requirements as applicable or necessary. Now, what you'll see is any comments stored against that clean, photos of the property. Oh, actually, she can click on photos to upload photos for you to reference in case you need to send it to the owner or any other team member. She can see the property details, including the access codes. She can also, or the cleaner or the team member can also report an issue. So as she's cleaning the property and she noticed a work order that needs to be conducted, we can go to report issue and we can say supply and install new towel rod in master bath. She's noticed that it is currently broken, and then she can just copy that, paste it into the description, and then she can upload, the team member can upload a photo of the broken towel rod to fix in the master bathroom. It's not a requirement. You can make it a requirement too. Okay, and now that's pretty much it. It's very easy to use Task Manager. So I'll go back to the dashboard or simply click on my task. You can view it, click on the task, see the list of requirements or criteria, update the status. Once you click on it, add photos or report an issue. Okay, now how do you view the reported issues? You can potentially convert it to a clean or to another work order if you need to. And the coolest feature, I think, of Task Manager is the property calendar, the property view. So we'll go back to Ciirus 1 and we'll go back to the operational menu, Management Company, Task Manager, and here you have a dedicated menu for reported issues. Okay, and here it is. In real time, supply and install new towel rod and master bath. And what you can do is edit that item if you need to, or what you can do is by clicking on the gear, you can convert it into a new clean or into a new work order to then apply it to the owner's account. You can also gain access to the folio that it applies to in case you need to charge the guest for damages using the card on file. So that is how you review reported issues, convert it to the, if applicable, clean, if applicable, work order, and reference the booking. And you can also click on the gear to see the folio as well for more information. All right, so next we have the unit schedule. So here is a great calendar. I should say an informative calendar. What makes it great is because it provides a lot of good information. So here you can see bookings scheduled for the property. You can see when a cleaning is scheduled, when a work order is scheduled. You can go into the booking if necessary, again, for reference purposes. And answering the question we received earlier, you can see if it's a back-to-back reservation in order to schedule the appropriate clean or the appropriate work order. You can also see when it's available, as you can see here, to then add a work order directly to the calendar. Another way to add a booking or quote directly to that property's calendar. So a great tool as opposed to using the basic work order module that we have here, where you cannot reference the reservations currently placed in the property in order you know when to schedule appropriately a work order. I would recommend Task Manager, Unit Schedule, add a work order by viewing the property calendar or the unit calendar. All right, so another question we received, thank you all so much for submitting these questions. We love them. See, this is why we love questions. Can you apply 2 housekeeping templates to one property? At this time, you cannot apply 2 housekeeping templates to one property. It is one template per the property, then per the clean. and that goes for both housekeeping and work orders and inspections. But again, thank you for submitting that question, because now we're going to take that over to development to see if we can program that into the system to apply to templates into the system. But right now it is not available. Okay, so actually, after I was researching your question, can you apply 2 housekeeping templates to 1 property? Thanks to the onboarding success management team, they offered a very good workaround, which is you go to the reservation folio. So again, the question is, can you apply 2 housekeeping templates to 1 unit? You cannot do it to a unit. However, you can do it on a reservation level. So if we go to the housekeeping tab within the folio, and what it automatically schedules the end of stay departure clean based off of the departure date. You can add a new clean, have 1 template for the end of stay, add for that clean, assign the other template, and both of those templates and cleans will reflect when the housekeeper logs in to their task manager account. I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know. And then last but not least, your day-to-day reports. So that is it for Task Manager. Again, high-level overview, creating the templates, assigning those templates on a unit level, overriding it on a reservation, clean, or work order level, viewing the reported issues when they log in. And I think one of the most helpful tools, or I guess we get a lot of good feedback from our users or valued customers, the unit schedule, where it's a better way to schedule work orders based off of the unit's occupancy. All right, so moving on to reports. Let me know if that didn't answer your question. I'm happy to clarify further. Moving on to reports, we recommend we have top five most frequently used reports in our entire Ciirus network. The first one we recommend you pull on a weekly basis. Again, you determine what's the appropriate cadence. Definitely you want to do it at least weekly, Monday to Monday. The expected arrivals report. So make sure you specify the right date range. Again, I'm using a fictitious account, so I need wider dates, more data. So specify the right dates, view report. It opens in another tab. Like I said earlier, any report generated by the system can be exported to these common files here, or you can print, or you can print it out. If you hand it out, if they come pick it up at your office, what reflects on the arrivals report? You'll see the unit the guests are checking into, the address, line 1, owner, access codes into the property, arrival date, departure date, how many nights, the name of the guest, if it requires pool heat, if the previous booking had pool heat, so you don't need to turn it on because it's already on. How many nights it was empty before the arrival date, how many nights it's empty after the guest depart. This is very helpful because This home was unoccupied for 19 days, probably needs a refresher clean, to get rid of, the dust and make it fresh and smelling good when they arrive. When it was booked on, also, if the guest has opted into mandatory or optional cart or reservation extras, you'll see that here. And any comments against the booking in the folio, the general comments, that's public, that will also reflect here. So everybody from who's out on the field to in office, admin, they're all on the same page for that guest arrival. And then of course the booking ID. Okay, so that is the arrivals report, number one. Number two, the departures report. So same concept, specify the dates, view the report in a new tab. Oh, great, I'm glad that answered your question, and I'm glad that was a good workaround. Yep, so any report, you can save it as these common file types, you can print it as we reviewed, then you can see which guests, the unit they're departing out of. Same applies as the arrivals report, less information. The good thing about the departures report, it shows you when the departure clean is scheduled, pool heating information, and the cleaner assigned. So if you're doing a departures inspection, you know to call that cleaner or report an issue via task manager to say, hey, you need to complete X, Y, and Z after inspecting it upon departure. So we review the top two reports. Top three would be the specific booked cart items report. We recommend you pull this report as well. And it's basically the reservation extras that can be based off of the arrival date, departure date, or when it is booked. You can also include canceled bookings if necessary. So I'm going to do it based off of arrival date to prepare and coordinate, schedule all reservation extras for this month. And then you can narrow it down to view specific types of extras, or you can just go ahead and select all extras. Really up to you. And then go ahead, like any report, it opens up into a new tab, and then it will show you that data. So you'll see the booking ID, the property, the item the guest has requested, who added that item for reference purposes, the dates of the reservation, the name of the guest, when the item was requested, and then totals. Okay, so that would be the top three reports we recommend on a daily basis. Sorry, I have to jog my memory on the last two reports. Give me 1 second. All right, okay, just remembered after referring to my notes. So we reviewed the top three, the arrival report, departures report, the reservation extras report. Next, of course, would be your basic housekeeping report, which we already reviewed in the housekeeping module. You want to make sure you're checking that on a weekly basis if that's what you deem as necessary. Then the fourth report would be the payment due report. So again, we are in management company, reports, and we can search for payment due. This is for the balance due. Input the date range. Here, if the departure date is greater than or equal to today, let's say you wanted to see all bookings that are due today. You can also include future bookings where zero payment has yet to be taken, and then view the report. And here are all of the reservations where there's an outstanding balance as of today. Again, every report can be exported to these common file types. Print it out if you need to. Okay. Okay, all right. So that concludes the top recommended reports that you pull on a weekly basis. We'll be adding these top 5 reports to our new dashboard, which is coming out soon. But for now, you can access them via management company reports. I really hope that this was comprehensive, informative, productive webinar where we help you make your day-to-day operations more efficient, more standardized for your maintenance, housekeeping, and inspections. Are there any questions before we conclude today's webinar? Okay, we got one question. Thank you so much. Is there a report to send owners about the bookings? So of course there is. We would recommend that, of course, you make your day-to-day operations more efficient and have the owners log on to owners.ciirus.com or portal.ciirus.com to log into their owner portal and view all of their bookings, as opposed to you manually sending a report to view their bookings. Also, via the CRM, instead of you manually sending a report, you can have the CRM automatically email your owners when a new booking is placed with all of the booking information. So again, to eliminate you having to create a report on whatever cadence with your owners, I highly suggest you promote the owner portal, which shows all your bookings that you've placed. They cannot make any changes to your bookings, and they can view the net amount due to that, or the projected net amount due to them via the owner portal. Or the other option would be via the CRM. You can create a customized CRM template with all of the booking information that you would like the owners to see to automatically be delivered to the owners upon booking. And that we have webinars on for the owner portal as well as the CRM. If you check out our recordings, I'm also going to be conducting webinars, upcoming webinars for the owner portal and the CRM very soon. So don't forget to register to these learning group sessions, ciirus.com/learning-groups to register for the upcoming webinars, and then also view the recording of the webinars that we've already conducted. And I believe that is it. I hope that answered your question. If not, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team, and we can lead you in the right direction on how to use the CRM to notify your owners about bookings. Just want to confirm if that's all right with you before I conclude this session. Awesome, awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Again, we hope this was a step in the right direction, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday. please don't forget to register. We'll be here same time, same place. And next Monday, we're reviewing the end of month process to produce owner statements. So the big accounting session. Again, next Monday, same time, same place. Please register. The webinar will be conducted by me again. Thank you. Have a great Monday. Have a great week and see you all next Monday.